Hi, welcome to UX Living Lab. Our presentation will start soon. Welcome again to UX Living Lab. Today we are talking about how likely is the customer to buy additional products and services. This is a part of our journey to develop and track CX index. We already talk about easiness, we already talk about effectiveness, emotions. Then we talk about retention. This is the fifth step we are talking about, enrichment, or how likely the customer buy additional product and services. That means customer already purchase some product, and how likely they will purchase the add-ons to the same product. That's what we are talking now. It's not talking about sticking the brand. Of course they have to stick the brand because we are talking about additional product. That's a difference you have to understand from customer retaining the customer in the same brand, and the difference between the enrichment and retainer. So what is additional product? Think about any product you have. There are some add-ons companies providing. For example, you have some cosmetics which is add-on to um, your daily routine of brushing or shaving, or think about the any of that type of product, or think about your automobile. They are giving some add-ons to your car after you purchase. So there are a lot of add-ons company is providing. So which are the add-ons customer is ready to pay or ready to buy, or which are the add-ons you have to give free? This is the topic we are discussing now. First thing we had to look into these factors is a categorizing component based on customers' perspective. What it means, if you are selling a product or selling a service, how customer is categorizing your product, the components of the product, not only the product, more than product categorization. That we are talking about the components in a product, how customer is categorizing that components. That's what we have to discuss first. The best model for categorizing this component is five-factor analysis model. What it is? We are talking about in five-factor analysis, it talks about core factors, enhancing factors, dual threshold factors, love factors, and neutral factors. Being a manufacturer, you may be familiar with this categorization, but are the core factors of your product. If you are selling sugar, it should give the sweetness. That is a core factor of the product. Like that, you know what are the factors, enhancing factors, dual threshold factors, love factors, and neutral factors of your product. But I'm not interested to talk about these factors from the manufacturer's perspective. It is not relevant. We are talking about UX and user experience journeys and the perspective of the customer, how they categorize these factors. That is important here, because what the customer is having in his mind about these factors. What is core factor? Core factor is expected by customer but will not be a source of satisfaction. What it is? Think about, I'm giving the same example of sugar. Look into that. What is a core facility or core quality the sugar should give, that is sweetness. So when a customer buy sugar, customer expect sweetness, nothing else. That is a core factor it should provide. So that's called core factor. What is expected by customer, but it no will not be a source of satisfaction because we know that the sugar gives sweetness. That means it's not a satisfaction factor. It should work. There is no question on it. It should give that quality. There is no question on it. So it won't give any satisfaction. If it is not giving that quality, they will just reject that product and go for competitive product or some other substitution product. So that type of factor is called core factors. In a car, it has to travel from point A to point B, or starting point to destination. Then enhancing factors. That is called factors lead to customer satisfaction, but failure to deliver does not cause dissatisfaction. What it is? There are some factors your manufacturer is providing, or some component of that factors that leads to customer satisfaction, but failure to deliver does not cause dissatisfaction. Think about the same simple example. That's very, when we apply these context in a very small simple examples, it will be more clear. In a very complex products we can apply this type of example, but I am always interested to apply in a small and simple products. Then think about the same example of sugar. When you make sugars into sugar balls or cubes, that is an enhancing factors, isn't it? Oh, it's sugar in a sugar cubes. But if you are not giving it as a sugar cubes, customer don't have any issues. If you are failed to give it as a sugar cube, it's in a powder form, in a granules form, that is not a satisfaction level. That type of factors are called enhancing factors. So factors that leads to customer satisfaction but fail to deliver does not cause dissatisfaction. Then the next one, dual threshold factors. What it is? If such factors are failed to deliver, it will cause customer dissatisfaction. Deliver above the specific level will cause satisfaction. You understand it again or read it again. If such factors are failed to deliver, if there are some factors, if you are not delivering that factors, it causes customers dissatisfaction. Delivering above the specific level will cause satisfaction. So there are two-way effect. Come back to the same example of sugar. If the sugar pot is clean and neat, think about the clean neatness or cleanliness of that sugar pot. If you are not giving the sugar in a clean pot, it causes dissatisfaction, because sugar is giving its quality, sweetness, but the pot is not clean, then it gives dissatisfaction to the customer. But if you are clean and neat, then it gives satisfaction. So they expect some cleanness, but if you are providing it above than that, then it gives satisfaction. That is the way, that is the example, or that is the way you have to understand this. So that you can apply these concept in your product, which component of the product which gives this dual effect. Then love factors. It constitutes the willingness to serve the customer genuinely, empathy, caring, personality. What it means, it constitutes willingness to serve the customer, genuine empathy, caring personality. That is, if you take care of the need of the specific customer. For example, if the customer is having a diabetes and you are providing brown sugar by understanding his needs, so it also gives sweetness, but it gives a satisfaction to the customer, thinking that the provider, the seller, is taking care of his personal needs. That is called love factors. So there are a lot of components in a product which gives these type of satisfaction level. The factors which gives satisfaction level based on when the supplier or manufacturer gives a personal attention. There should be some component like that. That's called love factors. Then neutral factors, factors that are least sensitive to the changes in performance. That is, have no impact on the quality perception of customers. Neutral factors, factors that are least sensitive. The customer is not caring about that factors. It's the quality perception of the and no impact on the quality perception of customers. For example, in the case of sugar, when you give sugar in an open pot, or you give it as a powder form which can be poured to your coffee, so customer least sensitive of the process of adding sugar. That type of factors are called neutral factors. How to add the sugar? So in any product, there are a lot of neutral factors. I will explain it more deep, so you will get an understanding. I will explain it with different contexts or different examples. It will give more clarity to you, and you can visualize and apply in your product with which component of your product gives the neutral factors. Okay, look into the example. Lady is having her coffee. So we are talking about core factors, enhancing factors, dual threshold factors, and love factors, neutral factors of this process. Think about, as I said, I am taking very simple example. Lady is having a coffee. So when you categorize these factors, what is core factor? When you have coffee, your expectation is you have to be energized. There is a basic thing we are expecting from a coffee. Otherwise, we should have a coffee. Energized. So that should give from the coffee. If that is not giving from the coffee, that customer will always complain. This coffee is not good. Quality of the powder is not good. So that's why that's core factor. Enhancing factors. What variety of cups? Maybe small, medium, large cup. These are called enhancing factors. So they need small cup of coffee or big cup. These things we can think about as a enhancing factors. Dual threshold factors, cleanliness, always the serving cleanliness. Then love factors, think about sweetness, changing the sweetness according to the need. That's the love factors. Neutral factors, explanation about coffee. So you maybe explain this is coffee is made in such and such a state, and this. Okay, normally people are least important about that, and they will go through it. That's okay, but it's doesn't matter. So these categorization should be done from the customer's perspective. You may be fighting against me, or you may be uh, thinking in a different way, and you are not agreeing with my suggestions. This okay, this is not enhancing factor for me, that is a love factor. Okay, like that explanation about coffee is a core factor. Okay, but you have to analyze about your product from customer's point of view. What the customer think about, which are the core factors. You may be thinking about one component as core factor, but customer may not. That part we have to understand. Okay, core factor, enhancing factor, dual threshold factors, love factors, and neutral factors. You can define it. Core factors are measured as the reliability of the product or service. The customer is not ready to pay for any failure in in the warranty period. I'm using warranty period because of the physical product. Think about a coffee. If the coffee is not giving what they expected, or coffee is not uh, triggering as a energizing drink for the customer. The core factor failed, and they say that the coffee powder is not good or coffee making is not proper, so I am not interested to have this coffee. And you had to replace that coffee, but customer won't pay for that replacement. That way you have to understand that's a core factor. If the quality or the output offered by the core factor failed, then you have to replace, but customer won't pay for that. That's why I use warranty period. And I think about your car is going to happen when there is some manufacturing defect. Of course, you have to replace it in the warranty period. Customer won't pay for that. Then enhancing factors, different or basic and premium model. Think about a car, you can change, you can understand this what is premium model and basic model. Like that in coffee also you can think about different size of cups. Or customer may think about size difference is an enhancing factor, or color difference is an enhancing factor. So different things you can think about enhancing factors, and we have to analyze these factors from customer's perspective. Customer is ready to pay for addition, so they know that there is something added to the product and it's valuable. The customer is ready to pay. Then comes to dual threshold factors. These components should work, so can't charge additional for replacement but can charge for maintenance and service. So there are some components it should work, but think about the coffee, the milk, the cream added to the coffee is not enough, they need more cream. Okay, you can you may not be adding that customer may not be ready, may not ready for paying the additional cream, but think about the support, and think about if you are giving additional cream still in an additional cost, saying that okay, that cream is not having the quantity, so we will be giving additional cream, something like that. Think about, I'm just giving an example. You, as I said, you may not be accepting this, but think about your product. What are the dual threshold factors in an automobile? You can think in such a way that mm, some parts want to replace. For example, brake pad, you have to replace it after some time. If there is a damage in the warranty period, you have to replace it, but they are ready to pay for the labor charges but not the component charges. In the core factors they are not ready to pay anything, but here they are ready to pay the maintenance charges or service charges. These type of components you have to understand from your product. Then the next is love factors, personalized. Can I already explained what is personalization. Think about you are adding, you as a manufacturer you are giving a music system, high level music system for the car, then customer is ready to pay for additional. In the case of coffee also, I already said about the personalization, caring the customer's personal needs, that also you can charge as additional. Then neutral factors can't charge for the lifetime. I already explained that what are the neutral factors. So if something you are adding to neutral factors like information about the coffee, or in a automobile segment you can talk about different things inside the automobile, it can't charge for lifetime. That should be there because of manufacturer's need. Customer won't feel that that is the requirement for me, in that way. Okay, customer won't pay additional. So in total, how we can categorize this? The core factors, customers won't pay for additional. Enhancing factors, customers ready to pay additional. Dual threshold factors, customer is ready to pay additional for maintenance and support. Love factors, customer is ready to pay additional. Neutral factors, customer won't pay additional. So this is the way you can think about your product also: core factors, enhancing the dual threshold factors, love factors, and neutral factors. Same case with the automobile, you can think about in the core factors. The customer is buying the car, so he is not ready to pay anything additional to for the car because he already selected a car. Then enhancing factors for the maintenance package for 3 years, paying additional. That is, customer is ready to pay additional maintenance package for 3 years. It's a lump sum payment for maintenance for 3 years. Dual threshold factors, warranty for manufacturing defects, paying for services. Look into that. Love factors, personalized music system, paying additional. Neutral factors, software updates. Now always the car is having a softwares. So you are going to update the software every month or every year. Customer won't pay for that. So that's their problem. Why should I do? What should I do? Why should I pay for software updates in a car? So this is the way you have to understand. This is the way customer will categorize the components in a product. You may be selling a very simple product, a very complex product. Everywhere the customer will categorize these factors. That is actually we need not pay. In the customer's mind, it's there because that should be there. Okay. How to measure this? The core factors, enhancing factors, dual threshold factors, love factors, neutral factors. Measure these in the perspective customer. Categorize this. You can use questionnaire method for that. So, okay, you are using this particular brand of car. So, what are the additional expenses you already had? Do you think that these expenses you are ready to pay, or that should be borne by the manufacturer, or whether that is a required one? For example, changing the tires, nobody will say that you manufacturer has to pay for that. Am I right? So, think that if there is a problem in steering, of course, it's a manufacturing defect. Manufacturer has to do that, not due to any accident that there is a problem in steering. Manufacturer had to do that. But okay, I'm ready to pay the maintenance because I used it. Ready to pay for the maintenance. But think about if there's a engine problem in the manufacturing, completely manufacturing defect, then it stops in between. So this is the way you can ask the questions and categorize. Then another method is story analysis. You can explain instead of quantitative method, you can also apply for qualitative method here. So you can get the information, then categorize. Anyway, if you are using quantitative method or qualitative method, the final requirement is categorization of the component of your product based on customer's perspective. Then we have to do the individual measurement for these factors. So we ask individually about these factors, then come to a conclusion about the total segment. That's like segmentation or categorization. You can talk about that's age-wise, income-wise, gender-wise, or region-wise. You can categorize these factors and come to the conclusion. Then you have to compare this with your perspective as a manufacturer. You have this perspective. This is the core factor of the car. But when I say core factor, when think about a basic model may not require a music system. But in a premium model, it requires a music system in a core factor. So that's where you have to understand. Okay, music system, won't consider music system as a love factor always. Think about a premium car which is not giving the GPS nowadays. They won't accept that because that's a part of core factor of that car. But whether they are expecting the GPS in a base model, a family car, it's a very standard model of the family car. No. So you may have your own categorization. The man as a manufacturer, you may have your own categorization. Take it from the customer's perspective, then compare. If both matches, you win. Otherwise, you think about it. Then continuously you have to take this information. This information may change based on market conditions, regions, and when after some time people's perception will be changing. So you have to take this information continuously about your product. Again, one more example, one more explanation I can give how we can use this model in a practical way. Same, coming back to the same example, ladies having a coffee. Then look into this table. The components: coffee, cup, serving. These are the three main. I'm not going deep into that. Just taking these three components: coffee, cup, serving. Then core factors: quality of coffee. It's a core factor. Then what are the enhancing factors? Quantity can be enhancing factor. Then dual threshold factors. Serving environment. Think about the neatness of the environment, or the premium hotel, or you the same coffee powder is served in a street restaurant at this premium hotel, premium restaurant. So the environment differs. So customer is ready for pay for that environment. Actually, the coffee powder is having the same cost, but customer is ready to pay for the environment. That's why the dual threshold factors should be there. Then love factors: cream, or I already explained, brown sugar, or any that type of personalized things you can talk about. Then neutral factors: information about the coffee. Information about the coffee is a component of the coffee, but it's a neutral factor. It's like that you can categorize. So they collect this information from customer's point of view and compare with your own perceptions. I hope I explained everything so deep into the categorization. At the same time, you can apply this model in your product, then categorize it, then understand what is the perceptional difference between your factors and factors from customers. Of course, you have any questions, you can ask me or add it in this box. At the same time, you want to talk to me, you can scan this QR code and fix an appointment. I'm very happy to discuss anything connected to these factors. And we are in the journey of preparing customer experience index. So these components will be connected to customer experience index, and I will explain the model how it should be in forthcoming weeks. So today we are concluding with I, how likely the customer will purchase additional product and services, and whether the customer is ready to pay for that or not. That is important. Otherwise, you can give all these additional things are free. So if you are charging, but customer is think that that should not charge, that should be the part of the product. That then the perception difference is there. You have to sort it out. So compare between the customer's perception about these factors and your perception, and where there is a mismatch, then analyze it and take steps to recover from that situation. Okay, you're happy. I'm happy to give all this presentation to you, and you can share it to your colleagues and friends. Also, I'm expecting your comments and likes. Questions? Okay, thanks a lot. See you next week.